Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops.
I want Anthony Joshua. I want him A.S.A.P. and as soon as possible. I'm tired of the excuses that his promoter, Eddie Hearn's, been making. He don't want that fight to happen. I don't think AJ really wants it to happen.
So do you think he's ducking you? Is Eddie Hearn ducking you?
I think Eddie is more so ducking me than Joshua. You know, at the end of the day, Joshua is a fighter. So we wouldn't have signed up for this if we didn't really want to be the best that we can be as a champion. You know, I think Eddie, he make up so many excuses. He put money in there. He make excuses with splits. He make excuses with social media. But how many excuses are you going to make? People are getting fed up now. People are realizing what's the truth. And the truth is, I am the best. I will unify the division. I will take Joshua belts and Parker belts as well. As soon as the opportunity come about, it's over. And Eddie knows it. And if it's not, if I'm lying, if I'm just full of it, then come and prove me wrong. This, I dare you.
Would you travel to England to secure that fight, bearing in mind how many people sell out the stadiums that Joshua's been fighting in?
My belt says the heavyweight champion of the world. And with that being said, I would travel anywhere in the world to fight. But in realistic, the UK is only the size of Texas. In my country is a huge country. It's very huge. And all the numbers and specking out stadiums, all that looks good. But the mega of boxing and the money will always and forever be in America. But if he want to stay at home like a little girl, this king right here have no problem traveling and knocking out the champion in his own home.
Deontay Wilder said promoter Eddie Hearn is ducking him more so than AJ, and he's sick of the excuses. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing if you want to become part of the gang. Bang, bang, gang, gang. Hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chat channel, donation to Venmo, and the Patreon family. We are working. Now, I'm loving what Deontay Wilder is doing. You guys heard the excerpt. It's from BBC Radio Live. And Wilder is continually putting the pliers to the whole Joshua fight situation. And I love it. I think this is what champions should do. He's more like outspoken. I don't know if you want to say vulgar, but he's just more for going towards the jugular. And he says, I want Anthony Joshua, A.S.A.P. That means as soon as possible. He also said, as you guys heard, Eddie Hearn is the promoter. He's making excuses with social media, the split, and he believes that neither of them really want the fight, but he respects and recognizes that Joshua is a fighter and he signed up for this. So he believes that Eddie Hearn is ducking the fight more so than Joshua is. He's the one that's creating the roadblocks. And he also goes on to say he knows that when it goes down, it's over, right? And he says he's the best. He believes he's the best. He will snatch the belts from Anthony Joshua as well as Joseph Parker. And he started excuses, and he says the people are getting fed up. So I agree with him in that. I mean, the people are getting fed up. You see it more and more. And there's only so long that you can prolong what is due to the fans. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is this. I'm going to keep saying the same thing. I want to see this fight. I grew up in a point where boxing was ruled. Once again, boxing was ruled by the heavyweight division. It wasn't about these little guys and chocolatitos and 112-pound fighters. No disrespect to them. Everybody got to eat. Everybody got to pave their way and make their living. But it was about the Mike Tysons, Lennox Lewis, Ray Mercer, Tommy Morrison, Muhammad Ali, you know what I mean? Ernie Shavers, George Foreman, Larry Holmes. Like, this was like the golden era of heavyweight fighters. Now we're finally making some ground where you got some interesting players. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. You know what I mean? You got some characters like Shannon Briggs. Yeah, I said, let's go, champ. Yeah, look at him. You know what I mean? The David Hayes, different people like that. So it's getting interesting. Dillian White, he's a good character for boxing. And Luis Ortiz, Alexander Povetkin. You know what I mean? Good fighters all around. So people just want to see it. You know what I mean? Shout out to Ego's Army, man. Y'all holding it down. And I'm just sick of the fans turning into promoters. That's not what boxing is about. And 2017 kind of spoiled us in a good way, to the point where why should we settle for less? I'm hearing fans talk like, oh, Thurman and Errol Spence, they shouldn't fight until 2019, 2020. Like, nobody's promised tomorrow. Nobody's trying to wait to no damn 2020. Unless, I don't want to hear anything about a fight in 2020. The only 2020 I like is Vision. You know what I mean? So people talking about, yeah, prolong it, let it marinate. I mean, that to me, that's stupid. And as a fan, why would you want that? Like, let's say the new Avengers movie is coming out with Thanos. Are you trying to wait till 2020 to see it, or do you want to see it come out next year? Right? You know what I mean? Because I've actually seen that where a movie preview looks good or something, and it's not coming out for like a year and a half. I'm like, man, that shit looks good. I want to see it. You know what I mean? And as boxing fans, it's crazy for what some people settle, but I know what it is. It's fear. A lot of people have fear. They fear their favorite fighter might lose, might get embarrassed, might get him like stopped, or whatever the situation, and that fear will drive you to do crazy things and say crazy things. My thing is, these boxers are tough. Most of the greats have experienced loss, you know what I mean? Except for a handful of guys, Mayweather, Kawasaki, Rocky Marciano, etc. Right? Most people have experienced losses, so it happens. My favorite fighters of all time have all lost. Prince Nassim lost bad to Marco Antonio Barrera, right? Mike Tyson, right? Muhammad Ali, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., Roy Jones, they've all lost. And some of them were bad losses. You know what I mean? Like Chavez Sr. versus Costa Zoo, that was a nasty loss. So to me, it's not really about that. I mean, I want to be able to give the winner and the heavyweight champion of the world props. So whoever wins it, be it Joshua or be it Wilder. So I agree with Wilder, and I love what he's doing. And you know what I mean, we just got to get past the fanboyism in boxing. If you speak from the heart, you're real, you're passionate. They say you're a dick rider. You riding Wilder's jock or whoever you're making the video. But Wilder's not doing anything to me to the point where I feel like he really warrants criticism. You know what I mean? People want you to criticize someone just for the fuck of it, just for the sake. I'm not going to do that. I like what he's doing. He said he's, to me, where I'm from, the Bay Area, it might be different in the UK or New York or different regions of the world, but where I'm from, this is kind of how you call someone out. Like I told you, I come up in the school of the golden era of hip hop and stuff. Like if LL Cool J had an issue with Kool Moe Dee or cannabis, you know what I mean? He gets at that person. You know what I mean? And then they settle it on wax. These two guys are fighters in the same division. Promoters work together, you know what I mean, or have in the past. This is a big fight fans would enjoy with two knockout artists, so the money's there. You know what I mean? So there's really no excuse for it not to happen, but that's what it is with boxing. Is like now, if you state your opinion, you're biased or you're dick riding this fighter, all kinds of homoerotic fantasies that these fans have. I just want to see the fight. If Joshua wins, then Joshua wins. If Wilder wins, then he wins. You know what I mean? I want to see it. Let me see the outcome. I don't care about some random YouTuber with no default picture and their fight prediction, because I don't know you. I don't know your boxing intelligence. It's not like Paulie Malignaggi or somebody whose boxing knowledge I've entrusted over the years. I don't know a random YouTuber with these goofy ass names like, you know what I mean, Joshua Lover 226 and shit. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know who you are. So I just want to see it for myself. And that's the type of person. I'm a visual. That's how I learn. I'm a visual learner. You know what I mean? So there's one way to settle it. That's to fight each other. So I like what Wilder's doing, man. He's putting a lot of pressure. Some people are criticizing him, saying he wanted 50-50. But, I mean, at the end of the day, fuck all that. That's negotiations. That's what they're there for. Just because you demand or say I'm not fighting for less than that, I mean, it's negotiations. That doesn't mean he's set in stone. What if they say, hey, this is this, plus we'll give you this big of a split of the pay-per-view revenue. You know what I'm saying? Then he might be like, okay, I'll take 40% plus that percentage of the pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know. A lot of people are getting too caught up in this, but that's part of the game. This is part of what Wilder's talking about with the promoter tricks and like Eddie Hearn and stuff like that, because I just talked about this on the live stream. We just got finished hearing Eddie Hearn talk about Dillian White for February with Deontay Wilder. Oh, he lacks a big name on his resume. He doesn't have the type of name that'll really stand out, and this, that, and the third. And then Eddie Hearn says something to the effect of, oh, I never said that Deontay Wilder must fight Dillian White to get the Anthony Joshua fight. I never said that. Okay, you didn't actually physically say, hey, you fight Dillian White or you don't get Joshua. But you were the one, Eddie Hearn was the one who even brought up this fight. He represents Dillian White and he represents Anthony Joshua. And you created that roadblock and you put that perception into the media and the public's mind that Wilder should fight Dillian White to raise his profile, and he lacks a big name, and I think Dillian White will beat Wilder and this, that, and the third. So realistically, that's where the rumor or this whole notion of Dillian White came from. But now you see Wilder clearly is not afraid. He got in the ring. He didn't have to go to Luis King Kong Ortiz, his last fight in Miami, where he does not live to my knowledge, and hop in the ring. And he was, to me, he was almost sunning Luis Ortiz. You know what I mean? Ortiz held his own, said, motherfucker, you a bitch, and stuff like that. But he was pointing all at him and said, hey, don't mess this up. I blessed you. I blessed you. Don't mess this up again. I promise you, I'm a man of my word. We can scrap. Now no one's even talking about Wilder versus Dillian White. And they're talking about Dillian White versus Lucas Brown, which is a solid fight. You know what I mean? That's cool. But to me, we just got to get down to the nitty gritty. And like I said, all the people mad at Wilder's negotiating 50-50. A lot of you guys don't understand business, own a business of your own. You work for somebody. You know what I'm saying? So therefore you follow directives. I work for myself, so I know how the game goes. And if I'm being offered something, then you damn right, I'm trying to get the maximum amount of money that I can for whatever the endeavor is. You know what I mean? I want to be taken care of in the long term. I don't want to be, you know, just for the moment, get a couple bucks here and there. You know what I mean? Especially when I know the money's there. Joshua versus Wilder is a big fight. And he's telling you he'll come to the UK. He says, hey, the money's really in America. That's how it's always been, which is true, because what he's saying is, like, in layman's terms, selling out stadium 70,000 with Carlos Takam is cool, but guess what? Canelo versus Triple G sold out, let's say 18 to 19,000 in Las Vegas, and it made more money than the fight with Joshua and Carlos Takam. You know what I mean? The live gate, the amount of merchandise sold, it is in the top 5 of all-time boxing events in Las Vegas. So clearly he has a point, because the amount of tickets sold in Wales was 70,000, over 70,000. Yet you could sell a fraction of that in Las Vegas, 19,000, not even 20,000. So let's say like 52,000 to 55,000 shy of the amount of seats sold, asses and seats, physical bodies, yet it made less money, right? And you could do the research or do the math on that. But even yet and still, he says, my belt says heavyweight champion of the world. He said heavyweight champion of the world. So I'll travel wherever. But like I said, they're going to have to make it worth his while to do all that. If you're going to have him travel to the UK. So to me, it's what it is. And I just like his attitude. He said, if I'm lying, come prove me wrong. This I dare you. He said, I dare you to prove me wrong. You know what I mean? And some people don't understand this aspect. I'm going to try to run through it real quick again. What I'm saying, the 50-50 is this. This is one fight. One fight, and there's another belt on the line, and there's a ton of recognition. It's going to be a big fight when it's all said and done, right? So sometimes you have to concede little things. I'm not saying Joshua absolutely has to. He is the A side. I agree he's the A side. Floyd Mayweather said he's the A side. But what I am saying is there is something to be gained by beating a guy like Deontay Wilder. Aside from the belt, a guy who's been talking greasy in your division and you have the chance to shut him up. You know what I mean? And take his strap and take his unblemished record, right? Which no one else has been able to do. So it's not like it's just a lose-lose situation. And on top of that, people keep acting like, oh, this is ridiculous. Wilder won 50-50. 50-50 is just splitting the pot. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia had, their fight was 50-50. And the only difference is Thurman had 1 belt and Danny Garcia had 1 belt. And Joshua has 2 belts as of right now. And Wilder has 1 belt. And really, the reason he has 2 belts is because Tyson Fury failed for personal reasons with cocaine, and then he relinquished his belt. So when the Klitschko fight was made, they fought for a vacant title. So realistically, Joshua nabbed that 2nd belt based on a vacancy from Tyson Fury, who beat Klitschko before Joshua. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my thoughts. I'm just saying, it's not like, oh, like every major fight that Joshua, that I've seen recently come about, where it's like the best fights for Joshua, in my opinion, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, and Joseph Parker. The conversation always shifts to how much we have to pay these guys. Tyson Fury needs to sign to Matchroom and not Frank Warren. We got to overpay these guys. They're not worth this. We have to pay them 7 times more money. I'm a boxing fan. I don't really care about all that extra stuff. Make it happen. He has a team, and a legal team. Joshua has a legal team. You know what I mean? Negotiate whatever the money is, but I'm not trying to hear, oh, we have to overpay and stuff. Like, sometimes you have to get the fight done. I mean, because realistically, this is all I'm saying, and I can't wait to do my next live stream because we can do some hot seats regarding the same topic. Canelo Alvarez, based on a factual A-side number perspective, has done way more than Triple G in terms of physical numbers, ticket sales, asses in the seats. You know what I mean? You look at, not saying Triple G did bogus or bad numbers, but Canelo fought in Texas, which was the right place for that particular fight, against Liam Smith from the UK, that nobody in the States really even knew who he was like that. And they sold, or they had like 51,000 people in attendance, right? He has the Mayweather 2.3 million. He sold almost 1 million with Cotto. Golovkin, this is all before the Golovkin fight. Golovkin don't have nothing near these type of numbers. You look at his numbers with David Lemieux, Danny Jacobs, those are his pay-per-view outings, and none of them are even near. Even Canelo versus James Kirkland was like one of the highest cable watched boxing programs that particular year. I think it was the #1. You know what I mean? So all around, Canelo's stunting on Golovkin. Yet that fight was made. Somehow, some way, there were some hiccups and vacating of belts, and Golden Boy tried to offer Triple G a flat rate, and somehow, some way, it got done. So there's no reason Joshua and Wilder shouldn't get done. And again, I don't care about 50-50, 60-40, whatever they decide, but there has to be a way to get it done, because Canelo and Triple G got it done. And realistically, Canelo can stunt all over Golovkin's numbers. You know what I mean? And be like, oh, da-da-da. But obviously they found a way to appease both fighters. Golovkin was putting up all 3 of his belts or whatever, and Canelo was the A side, and they found a way to make it work, and they're about to find a way to make it work again. Boom, case closed. Wilder, Joshua, make it happen. Let's see it. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.